You're about to see the tallest build that can get legend shifty shooter paired with some of the best shot creation moves for bigs, which are fittingly Dirk's animations. We got his signature one leg fades and of course a deadly post game, but Dirk is truly an elite shot creator from all over the court, and this build gets deep bomber, which is honestly insane and has led to some of the most fun I've ever had on 2K. Don't forget to drop a like, and you know I gotta jump into some history real quick before we get to the build. Now you're watching the 2006 NBA playoffs, Game 3 in the first round between the Mavericks and Grizzlies, and Dallas is up 2-0 in this series.
Here, this is the follow. Nowitzki has it, fires a three. Wow. Nowitzki hits a three to tie the game.
Man, what a shot from Dirk, especially for that era. I mean, what other damn near 7-footer is confidently pulling a three in a clutch moment like that? Well, I guess Big Shot Bob, and it is kind of crazy how similar these plays were, but that was a set shot. I'm talking about the shiftiness. Dirk was on the move, takes a hop, and just buries it to tie the game. This one goes to OT, and up to this point, Memphis hadn't won a single playoff game in franchise history. Unfortunately for them, they were up against a sharpshooter.
Here's Nowitzki, wide open for three, and he gets another one. Dirk Nowitzki.
Look away, Grizzlies fans. That's the boogeyman right there. Again, 7-footer, pulling a three in transition. Not often you'd see that back then. Mavericks sweep. Dirk makes it to his first NBA Finals and would win MVP the following year. This is a man who's just entering his prime, and he has the guts to take the type of shots we never saw big men take before him. With that in mind, I'm going for difficult shots on our Dirk Nowitzki build in NBA 2K26. Let's hop in that builder, and I promise y'all are in for a fun one. Alright, so you can see the full build here, but don't miss out on the Capbreaker Gameplan because that's the part that's really going to optimize the build, and we got it all planned out whether you just got the game or if you have 5, 10, or even 15 to 20 Capbreakers. But first, I'll walk us through every part, and I gotta start with the shooting. So like I said, this is the tallest build that gets shifty shooter, which is also a tier 2 badge at 6'11", so I knew we had to target legend on that for Dirk. I'm specializing in shooting here, and we get a 94 midi, which will allow us to use our badge perks to get all these badges to legend, and I'll go over exactly how we do that later as well. Now for me, scoring out of the post is always my bread and butter. I'm loving Dirk's animations this year because they definitely sped them up, so I'm comfortable fading over either shoulder no matter what direction I'm facing. Right here, I should have faded left, but Legend Deadeye and Post Fade Phenom at 6'11 is a lethal combo. On this one, I get a cleaner look by faking the drive. I knew he would bite, and that's automatic. And of course, we got this clip, which is a signature move for us. Fake the fade, step over pivot, back into the fade after he jumps. To do this move, I'm just flicking the left stick down right after faking the shot, and this is what it looks like after faking the post hop and into a ridiculous three. Make sure you're holding the left trigger the whole time, and here I'm going to hit a shimmy, then flick down diagonally left, and that's just not fair. Dirk's post hops are also much quicker than last year, and I can count on them for reliable buckets whether I want to hop to the side for an easy look, or battle with my defenders for positioning before pulling it straight back and over the top. We can give it to him any way you want. I'm not a fan of Dirk's post go-to this year, but T-Mac is a great alternative, and I actually like this more for the cancels rather than taking the shot. I think enough people have seen this move already that they're most likely jumping if they see you start the animation, and from there I can either get on the rim, or I can take it wide and get to the signature Dirk fade. Now aside from that post go-to, I am rocking with most of Dirk's animations, including his hop and spin jumpers, which are super clean and tough to guard, but you'll notice I'm even running his pure jump shot with max release speed as well. This isn't ideal for most, but I personally like how it feels, and the fact that it's slower can actually be an advantage because everyone has to jump on contests in this year's game, so Dirk's jump shot forces me to play more patient. Of course you can change that if you want, but I'm a rhythm shooter as well, and I like that no matter what type of shot I take, I'm looking for the same visual cues and keeping the tempo consistent with Dirk's uppers. Now, let me get to the insane part of this build, which ended up being way more overpowered than I was expecting, and has legitimately turned this build into like a 3-hunting Curry build if he was 7 foot tall. 89 3-point gets a silver limitless range, which I upgraded to Hoff with a max +2, and then we used one Capbreaker to push that rating to a 90 to unlock the Deep Bomber Takeover. And before we get to the crazy clips with that, I wanted to cover one of my favorite moves I found this year, and that's DeAndre Ayton's go-to shot. If you haven't tried this one yet, I highly recommend giving it a shot because I'm telling you, it's money. Check it out. Hand down, man down. I love how he sizes them up, then just snaps into a pull-up with that slight lean back, and because of our height with those legend badges, you can even drill this shot right through contests. It's also a very solid move to cancel and help you get to your spots, so if you got a tall shooter, consider adding this move to your game. Now, Dirk developed his one-leg fade with the intention of having a move in his bag that was impossible to block. We're taking that move and bringing it out to 35 feet. How do you even guard that? I got a ton of clips from the logo with Aiton's go-to shot because that one's been super easy for me to time. But we also got Dirk's hop and spin jumpers from out here, and these are seriously unguardable. Especially because you can always cancel them, and once the other team sees one of these go in, they start jumping at everything, and I can't blame them. Y'all know these mind games are right up my alley, and I've been disrespecting my opponents to the point where they gotta start guarding me like this. Look how many guys they got jumping at me here. We make the right read though, and hit my boy on the wing for an open 3. That one ended up being a blowout, so let me show you the power of Deep Bomber on Dirk in a close game. Down 6 with less than a minute left, and we've been going crazy with 27 points. We're dancing at the 3-point line for a tough bucket, and we got Deep Bomber off that. Next possession, we get a stop, so I'm calling for it here in transition, and they're sagging way too far back. Dirk's putting that one up off the catch, and you already know it's green. All of a sudden, we got a tied game, and their power forward crumbles under pressure and hands us the ball back. My point guard knows we got to get the ball to the hot hand, and he makes a great call to set me up. I'll let this one play out for y'all.
Woo! Let's go!
I have absolutely no regrets going for a minimum wingspan because of the fact that we have Deep Bomber and Legend Shifty Shooter on a tall build. Most big men I see with Deep Bomber mainly shoot set shots, but with that Legend Shifty Shooter, anything and everything becomes a green light. Alright, so we also got really solid finishing, 92 close shot for Gold Paint Prodigy and Hall of Fame Float Game, 80 layup for Silver Physical Finisher, but you'll see later that we get really good value on our Capbreakers here, so that'll eventually be a 90 for Gold. And then we get 75 on both driving and standing dunk so we can finish easy rim runs with that Giannis dunk package. Post control is at an 85, but again, you'll see later that we get great value on caps here as well, and all that ties together to make us a threat attacking the basket out of the post. We got our up and unders, but honestly, these have been really tough for me to pull off consistently this year. An easier option is that T-Mac cancel I mentioned earlier, and I've been getting a ton of rim runs after doing this move. After one Capbreaker on post control, we get Gold Post Up Poet, and in this clip, I actually had it on Legend after using my Max Plus 2, and that makes these drives too easy. Float Game is a tier 2 badge, so I Max Plus 1 that to Legend as well, and I'm really liking that with Bam's floaters. Now moving on to the playmaking, which is better than it looks. 76 pass hack has been more than enough, and right now I'm loving Sabonis' pass style. I've been throwing some confident breaks with it, and it's actually surprised me how good it is. I'll talk about the ball handle when I get to the Capbreaker game plan, but what I'll mention right now is that with only one Capbreaker, we push our speed with ball to a 55 for Giannis' dribble style, and that's a very important threshold to help us move around the court. Now let me talk about the defense, physicals, and rebounding all together. I made a Dirk build last year with short arms, and the number one most frustrating thing about it was getting put at the center position, where I couldn't get any boards because I didn't have much vert to make up for the wingspan. We got a completely different story with this build. 83 vert for Hall of Fame Pogo Stick, 92 D board for Gold Rebound Chaser and Box Out Beast, and maxed out speed and agility to help us stay in good position. This has made a massive difference for me on Dirk. Pogo Stick helps us a ton since we're going to rely heavily on our block rating for challenging all types of shots, and Gold Rebound badges have been solid enough for me to snag some boards. Although I prefer running power forward, as you can see, we are still able to run center if that's what the team needs from us. I was super happy to hit that 92 rebound, and the only way we could get that was by raising our weight, which is why the build is 254. We got an 87 block, and this rating absolutely carries us on the defensive end. With one Capbreaker, we'll get Gold High Flying Denier, combined with Silver Paint Patroller to hold it down in the paint, but thanks to our elite physicals, we're also able to cover ground very well and bother shooters out on the perimeter. You may have noticed that Silver Challenger popped there, and that's because we're using our first two Capbreakers to max our perimeter defense all the way up to a 72 from a 61. This gets us great value on a tier 2 badge, Bronze Challenger, and I'm max plus 1ing that up to Silver. We're getting Silver removable from that as well, so you're actually a way better defender than it looks on paper. The perimeter D is tied to our steal rating, so being able to keep both of those low is what's saving us so much value on this build. And I know having no steal on the build will bother some people, but check it out. Most of the time you'd think to cap break mid-range on a build like this. Normally 93 to 94 is one of the most expensive spots. Guess how much steal we get after dropping the mid-range to 93? 37, bro. We get 5 steal points. That's just crazy to me, so with everything else we get here, I hope it's clear that the trade-off is absolutely worth it. I'm averaging a block per game, but saving countless baskets whether I'm contesting down in the paint or out in the perimeter, and the build moves very well, so I feel confident guarding any power forward or center, and yes, that includes the 7-4s, and let me show you why. I'm going to throw up a few graphs, and I'll have links to both these videos in the description. Y'all probably already know 2K Toots and 2K Labs. Shout out to them for all the work they do for the community. So first one I'll share is the test that 2K Labs did a few weeks back, showing that 6'11s are the best height at contesting 7-4s, and they also found that your block rating is super important for jump contests. You may have also heard that there was a recent patch buffing contests, and what they did was they reduced the advantage that you have when shooting over a smaller defender. This graph here is from Toots, and you can see that the trend is still similar. You do still have an advantage when shooting over a smaller defender when you're at least 3 inches taller, but you can see that it's less severe than it was before the patch. I was in the middle of working on this video when the patch dropped, so I'll use this part to quickly give my thoughts on how this affected my Dirk build. I was going to make the point that I feel confident taking that dreaded 7-4 matchup because I noticed I was getting a lot of great contests, and I held my own in that matchup several times before the patch. After the patch, we're still doing just fine. Up against 2 7-4s in this gameplay, and you can see there, we jump for a 46% contest. Right here, he's on the move, and another well-timed jump gets us a 63% contest. So again, it's the block rating that's carrying us since we have short arms, but we do have Silver Challenger for hands-up contests as well, 8% there, and he probably should have made that. You're still going to have to hug the 7-4s on the perimeter, but look, the trade-off is they don't stand a chance guarding us. Even when they put both 7-4s on me, we get a crazy N1 over these two bozos. This brings me to my thoughts on how this patch affected our build offensively, and as you can see, Dirk's still frying anyone in front of him. All these clips are from the day the patch dropped, and I did feel a difference, but it wasn't that bad because I'm still getting good looks. I'm not trying to cheese the contest system, I'm taking smart shots when I have an advantage, whether that's on a big man with low perimeter D like you saw there, or when I have a significant height advantage and I got Legend Shifty Shooter with the boost from that one being a go-to shot. Legend Deadeye and Post Fade Phenom means we can still green a 22% contest over 2 defenders, and we're still pulling out moves these dudes have never seen before, so we're getting plenty of open looks to get us going. Even in Proving Grounds, where it's Hall of Fame difficulty, your green window is smaller, we try out a new step back I found in Dirk's Hop Jumper package, and that's a 23% green over a 6'10 defender. So we just got to be a little bit smarter with our shot selection. And again, on Dirk, I am playing slower, so I'm getting my defenders to jump a lot. And with the high shooting ratings we got, 90 plus across the board, legend shooting badges, deep bomber, we're 6'11", and they actually see you making difficult shots with Dirk's animations, so they gotta respect it. Yeah, you're just a threat in too many ways with this build, so I'm not worried about the patch moving forward. Now, out of the builder, first shade we get is a young Dirk, which makes sense because we got great physicals, but we got everything else that a prime Dirk would have, plus more. Not crazy about the name, but we'll see if that changes with future Capbreakers, and speaking of, let's talk about our game plan. So what I love about this build is you could start playing like Dirk right away before any Capbreakers because we're not relying on them for shooting or rebounding. The bones of the build are all there on day one, and the Capbreakers just balance it out, then make it even more elite as you unlock them. The first 2 go on perimeter D, we covered that earlier. 1 on speed with ball for that Giannis dribble style so you can actually move well when dribbling, and then your first specialization Capbreaker goes on 3-point to unlock deep bomber. Then your next 2 will take your post control from an 85 to a 91 for Legend Post Fade Phenom and Gold Post Up Poet. Your second specialization Capbreaker can go on speed to max it out at 71, and this is where I currently have the build. As you've seen, it's a monster, even at this point, but it's going to continue to get better and better throughout the year with many options. I'm going to use my next 3 to get Gold Physical Finisher and throw 1 on block to get Gold High Flying Denier. After that, I left a lot of great spots, and I think I'll go for ball handle next because I realized that low ball handle leaves you susceptible for double teams. Defenders can wrap you up way quicker and force a jump ball, and I didn't know your ball handle rating had an effect on this, but I did know that 70 is a good spot for Kevin Durant and Pro Sigs, and we can get there with 4 Capbreakers. I'd also like to eventually go for a 96 post control with 3 Capbreakers to unlock Gold Unpluckable and Hall of Fame Post Up Poet, and then down at the bottom you can see some other notable thresholds to consider later in the year. Over here, you can see the build at its full potential with all the badge perks I'm currently rocking. The specialization badges are permanent, so once you unlock that, you can always count on Legend Deadeye and Set Shot. And don't forget that we also have Legend Post Fade Phenom, so I'll probably be working more in the mid post early in each season until I start to unlock all these Max Plus 2s again. The crew Max Plus 1s are also permanent, and since Shifty Shooter's a tier 2 badge, we can also count on having that Hall of Fame until we hit level 30. But with everything else unlocked, you got all Legend Shooting badges with a good mix of post badges, defense, and 3 hunting with that Hall of Fame limitless range to pair alongside Deep Bomber. It's been a busy couple weeks for me, so this one took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I'm happy to finally get it out to y'all because it's truly been one of the most fun builds to play on. I did have gameplay I was going to include, but then the patch dropped and I figured it was kind of irrelevant. But we can always get new gameplay for y'all, and I can drop that later as a separate video. Drop a comment if y'all want to see that. But again, Kobe is on the way. I just got a little sidetracked because I wanted to make a big and ended up getting all these crazy clips with Deep Bomber. The Black Mamba build is insane, and I promise to get that one out as soon as possible. Appreciate y'all for watching. Please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Ooh.